Hi guys, so we're on the second part. Now this is only going to be on Patreon, so others won't see it, okay? So it's just for you guys and what we've been thinking all along. So what we've been thinking all along is Don's got sister wives, and that Candace might not be Don's and her child. That in fact Summer and the two boys, the reason why we can't find their birth certificates is because we're putting Candace as the mum, and if we were to put someone else as the mum, we will find their birth certificates. Now Candace ain't the biological mum. Now Justice for Summer Wells has looked into it because of what I said weeks ago about him having sister wives and being a Mormon on our one of our lives. And I'm going to believe her, and she's going to prove evidence. What worries me is when I was telling certain people, about it, about the what do you think? I got told, no, I've got evidence. Don't trust that one, trust this one. Don't trust that, trust this. So I ended up going with the person because they said not to trust it and I couldn't read. So I ignored it. It sent me on a different path. Apparently my thinking was wrong. And apparently the evidence was there to prove otherwise. But it was fake evidence. It was put out there to trick us. According to Justice for Summer Wells, she has original documents and she will be sending them to us and everyone, which will only be going on Patreon. Here's the second part.
Right? I mean, you guys can take a look through their history, and why don't y'all go look and see how much credit they've established, how long they've ever stayed in one place or held a job down for that matter, and then ask yourself, well, how did they get the credit to even buy 11 acres of land? Because I'm telling you now, let's go ahead and forego that big lie of his mother dying and giving it to him. If y'all want to go with Karen was his mother until the end of time, okay, you guys that want to go there and add 5 last names to her last name, maybe I can't help y'all. So y'all just go back over there, watch that one video on the.
So what she's talking about is Nita's World. She's saying, when we approached and said, are you sure this isn't his first wife? Nope, this is her mother. She had this name, that name, this name, this name, this name. Apparently it's not true. Apparently that was Don's first wife. His actual mother and stepfather was on 1110. Registered. It wasn't a house. They couldn't live in the house because it was condemned. They lived in a trailer on 1110. That's why the house is 165. Because it was rebuilt after a fire. That's right. So all the time someone said there's fire all around, there was a fire on Ben Hill Road.
Internet that keeps doing that to that poor lady. Do that for me. Okay, stay over there. If you want to do homework and you want to actually get to the bottom of what's going on in Summer Wells's case, and you actually really want to figure out why all the lies, why all the craziness, then please begin to do your homework and I'll do it with you. But all I ask is let's do that. Let's be open-minded. Let's really talk about what's going on here, and let's stop being just hard-headed and acting like we're going to sit on top of a box and say that we're right and try to make the rest of the world believe that. Okay, Claudia Trent is in Utah. She's been in Utah. She's never been in Tennessee.
Crowded Trent. So According to Nita, the Trents lived in Tennessee. Apparently, according to Justice for Summer Wells, she's got evidence and also actual proof of the person that she'd never ever been to Tennessee and never known any Wells at all. And she's willing not only to make a statement but come on and say that and prove who she is by her driver's license, her birth certificate, and also a passport.
It's nothing to do with this case whatsoever. She is simply a deed sweeper. Let's just call her what she is. She's a deed sweeper. She never knew William. She never knew Karen. She doesn't know anybody in this case. Karen never knew a Wells in her life. Karen Goad, William Goad, do not know a Wells, never did.
Do you hear that? Have we been lied to? Or is it this a lie and the other needs us the truth? Or was Nita set up and gave a paper trail that wasn't real? Was she set up so they could discredit her? And is this the real truth? See, this is more believable because we do believe Summer is definitely nothing to do with Candace or the boys. I think the eldest one's the only one that is.
Do not attach the two of them. They're not connected. All right, let's start there. Now, then we're going to go to how did he get this property then? How can Pam be following him everywhere he goes? Why does Pam keep coming up in the Beach Creek area? Supposed to be his ex-wife, right? Is that what people are telling me? Okay. Well, what I would ask you guys to do then, go back and let's look at their history. Let's go back and look at these kids. Let's look at them in their face with our eyes open, and let's just see what they look like with our eyes. And let's go back and look at Candace's children, and let's see what they look like with our own eyes for ourselves, and let's judge. Let's look at Summer's baby pictures. Keep your eyes open, and let's judge for ourselves. Let's really look at what we see going on in front of our eyes and see, do we think that what's going on is the actual truth? Now, there's no big conspiracy here. There's no aliens involved in coming down and taking kids away and all that. No. It's simply a sister wives type of kumbaya, SDA church, Mormon, Chad Daybell, Lori Daybell type of crazy crap we should all know good and well by now. This has been going on, guys, for what, 2 years now? And somehow we seem to not get it. Yeah, I get it. We're not being shown all the facts, how it starts. You know, we didn't ask ourselves when we went through this with Lori and Chad, well, how's Lori able to move everywhere she wants to go? You know, when you, her husband, was wealthy and Kay and them were wealthy and they had big life insurance policies and stuff, but that was, you know, when they would die, you would get that money or somebody would get that money, but that takes time too. But in the process, she was still moving and living it up, right? Hawaii, anywhere she wanted to go, she was still doing well. All that takes money. It all takes credit. It's all things that you have to have in order to live that lifestyle. If you watch these groups of people, they never stay in one place long. It's from Utah to Arkansas. It's Hawaii sometimes too. And I just started noticing that. I had no clue they went back and forth to Hawaii. That's a new one for me. But yeah, that's somewhere they pop up too. In fact, you start tracking down Don here's places he goes. Him and Donnie Wells will start popping up in Hawaii a few times. Well, at least their name. Do I think they ever went? No, I don't. But if you want to track ghosts, that's pretty much what you're doing in this investigation. You track ghosts because that's what they want you to do. They want you to believe that they bought and sold 4 or 5 properties beforehand, so it looks good to a bank who's going to pull this record, and they don't know Don Wells. They're going to pull it, and it's going to look like he's bought a few properties before, and he's sold a few properties before, and now all of a sudden he needs $35,000 to buy this land at Ben Hill Lane, okay? Because he needs a loan. And of course that bank's going to give him a loan anyways, because the bank is owned by yours truly, but they still have to cover themselves in order to be insured by the government.
Who she means by yours truly is the church. That's correct, guys. The big bank in Tennessee is owned by the church.
At least they need to be appearances, right? Appearances are everything. So you at least have to do the paperwork, even if you're not really doing your homework. At least look like you did your work, right? Write the math problem out, even if you're going to use your calculator. So they do write the math problem out. They make it look like he moved everywhere in the world, when most of the time he didn't really move much at all. They move him around and make him bump into certain people. Maybe he went over to Stagecoach Road, right? Because they bring everybody through Stagecoach Road when they come into that area. Because at least that way it can look like you bumped into these people that are going to run on the same paperwork you're going to run on too. But they were never there. Go look at the home at 4625 Old Stage Road. Because it's on 50 deeds as a previous property that they lived on. One that they bought, one that they sold. 4625 Old Stage Road. Go look at it. Kingsport. Just Google it.
Now this was Kingsport. The house that everyone kept asking. And we kept asking Nita. In Nita's world. Where was that house? Who lived in that house? Who owned the house that Don keeps going? Every few weeks he goes down not the first 3 days, then he goes down for 2 days, then he comes back for 3, then he goes back down there for 2. Is that where Summer could be right now?
Then find the house at Street View. Tell me what you see there. It's no house. No house. They didn't buy and sell anything there. It's paper.
That's correct. There's no house on there. It's just a bit of land. Guys, the church in Tennessee is the main place. They own everything in Tennessee, including the police. And if that's the case, then Sheriff Lawson should be arrested and a new team should be brought in.
We're chasing ghosts for appearances. So when I say question everything, you guys, I mean that from my soul. I mean question everything. So many people keep coming by these videos, and I've taken them down, so I'm not taking this one down, and that's why I'm not addressing any comments, and let's just not put them here, because this video is going to stay up, because it's just want this here as a beginning, just so people will just start to open your mind a little bit. No, I'm not going to talk to you about aliens. I'm not going to tell you there's a big conspiracy out here to take all the blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids to the white camps. But guess what? It's kind of close. It's the same thing that we went through with Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, this big thing that they're doing. It's just this church didn't know what they were going to do with Summer, and I'm not sure that they know now. But the thing is, when they came to them and let them know what had happened, they shouldn't have just took care of it and said, well, here's your story. This is what you need to say. They should have questioned more what is really going on. We've seen your child in church. We know there's something wrong here. What do you mean she's just missing? Instead of worrying about their wallets and worrying about, was Don going to come out and say that the church was still selling him this property and this bad deed that should have never existed, and all the other stolen land that they're selling in Tennessee, maybe they should have said, where's your daughter at? Let us go find her. If they wanted it shut up. Maybe they should have got the truth out of their puppet before they sit their puppet out here on us, for us to fall in love with the little girl, because now we have, and that was a big mistake. That's why you want to call us a circus, make fun of us, tell all the cops not to listen to anything on social media, right? Well, yeah, they probably shouldn't, because we...
I've been watching these guys for quite a while, and I get it what I've said in our last videos. They're repeating it, but they've got evidence. They're in Tennessee. They've got nothing to lose, guys. So I think they're going against Nita and saying what Nita's doing is putting the wrong information out. But when I asked Nita about it, Nita turned around and said, nope. She knows. She's looked into it. But now it comes into question. So this is why I'm just going to put this on the Patreon for all you patrons, because you Mr. Angel patrons support our channel. So you should get to hear things first. So, Alexa, put my light on.
Okay.
So, we've been saying all along, from the moment this started, I turned around and said, you know what, he's a Mormon. I bet you any money Don's the type of get who would have many wives. But, of course, I got shot down saying, no, because you can't read, I'll read it for you. So I get it read to me by other content creators saying, oh, the way you're looking at it's all wrong, and this is the way you look at it, and here's the evidence, and hundreds of paperwork thrown at us like no one's business. This is receipts, this is right, you're wrong. Now this lady, Justice for Summer Wells, is saying she's got evidence. She's got lives. She's got proof that the church runs the bank. But not only that, but that this registered house that Don's got doesn't exist. When they went down there, they took pictures of an empty plot. 90% of the paper trail is fake. It's fraudulent. The bank and everything. Including the sheriff. Now people are getting too close. Now it's coming to light. Why can't we find the 3 youngest kids that were supposed to be born in Tennessee? Why can't we find their birth certificate? The only one we can find is the eldest boy, the one that Candace is close to. That when you see her in all the visuals and everything, she's always got hold of her son. The same son that Don took away with Candace when they had an argument and took him to Utah. The same one that Candace made Don jealous to come home and bring her son home. So does it mean that Candace forced Don? Or does Don force Candace into living this plural life? Plural what life with his wives? And in fact, the ex-wife that keeps hanging around and coming up and that is actually Don's official wife. And that's why there's no birth certificate. Who knows? But what we do know is we've got to stay close, guys. Because it makes more sense that Don has more wives. That the children's pictures they put out are actually don't look like Candice. But if you look at the Brownses and their plural life, you look at the children, they all look alike. Cody Brown's children look so close to each other, yet they have different mums. Is this the same situation? But you see, Cody Brown and the Browns, the sister wives, wanted to prove for a very long time that it's different than what people perceive polygamists to be. Men who sit on their perches, loving and jumping from woman to woman and hitting them and beating on them and sleeping with 16 and 15-year-olds. And why the Browns are doing that, the Don and the Welleses have decided to prove the opposite. To prove everyone else right about polygamists. But does it make sense? Makes sense to me. Look at Cody Brown and the sister wives. Look at the children. Look at the baby pictures and the grandchildren that they've just had. They look all the same or similar, right? There's only one or two of them that look a bit different, but the rest, all the same. Blonde hair, blue eyes. As they grow up, brown hair, blue eyes. Is it simple the fact that Alison or Hunter phoned Summer's real mother, her birth mother? Is Summer's real birth mother passed away? Or did Summer's real birth mother come to pick Summer back up? And Don and Candice decided that they wanted to earn money and decided to play a game on everyone. But because being a sister wife is against the law in some countries in America, that they're against the law, what does that say? Would she come forward? Would she say, well, Summer was staying with her dad at the time, and my sister wife, Candice, who's the youngest? Was Rose a potential sister wife? Did she refuse? Or was it the fact that Don wanted Rose to be a sister wife and Rose accepted, and it was Don who she was having the affair with to leave her husband for? And did Candice set her sister up and take her out because Don wouldn't listen to her? Because Don's the boss, the master, right? So did Rose come to the demise of Candice? And Candice pretending that she was the cousin to meet? Was Rose actually going to meet Candice and Don for the decision that she was going to move in with them and take her two girls with her? Was that a plan that was about to happen, but then Candice decided otherwise? Was Don showing a bit too much attention to her 21-year-old sister, who was better looking than her? Did the jealousy become too much? Did the sound of being a polygamist Rose like to be a sister wife? Did Don arrange it and sort it out because of his age? Is that why Candice let Don talk to 17-year-olds and show his body parts to him? Because she couldn't stop him. I mean, how could she? The Browns and the Wells are different, totally different people. And maybe Don's polygamy was like the LDF church. Abuse, abuse, abuse. Abuse the wife, abuse the kids, abuse everyone. And only his needs were meant to be met and no one else's in Don's eyes. It does happen. You have two different types of polygamists. One that follows the real true polygamy world, where the wives have every say and the man doesn't. The wives have control, have houses, have homes, have their children in it, and the husband has to yield to what they need and what they want. And then there's the other type, like Don, the abusers, that get as many women as they can, get them pregnant as they can, and just keep bouncing around, using them and abusing them, making them go out to work, taking their money. Makes sense. It fits better that way, doesn't it, guys? And what if the church that Don's under now, he didn't follow the rules? Candice didn't want him to have any other woman. Don was taking drugs with Candice and drinking, all against the rules. So maybe his church, the Mormon church, kicked him out. Was Summer a sacrifice for him to come back to the Mormon church? Why is David Donson disappeared and the head of the church disappeared? We knew David Donson was still alive, but the head of the church, after that one interview, just disappeared. And then a man is found, burnt, half an hour. Who is it? Who could it be? Is the fact that Summer was just collateral damage? All I know is who I'm speaking to is Summer. One of the Summers. Who knows? Like I said, in polygamy families, if you look at the children, the dad's features are strong, just like Cody Brown's. Look at Cody Brown. Look at the sister wives. Look how many children look alike, although they've got different mothers. Is this the case? Is this why we can't find the birth certificates because Candice ain't the mum? Is this why Candice can't speak? She's not allowed to because she's not the mother. Who knows? This could be the right way. Or it could be totally wrong, like Nita says. But now we've got Justice for Summer Wells saying that Nita's wrong. She's got proof of it all. That Nita's confusing things by getting the wrong information. That a Gold was never with a Wells, never knew a Wells, never had any dealings with the Wells. She's never been in Tennessee. And she wished that people would stop putting her and her husband in there. Now's the battles of knowledge. Nita's world's knowledge versus the knowledge of justice for somewhere else. We're just to stand by us and wait and see. See what Nita comes back with after this. This Chip out of Mr. Angels. Catch you in the next time with the Patrons. So thank you so much for supporting Patreon. It helps this channel make more videos and keeps us going. Yous are the backbone of the Mr. Angels. So thank you. Thank you for being a Patreon.